Hello everybody, my name is Lukumar and this is HauteLeMode, and today on HauteLeMode we are going to be discussing whether or not the fashion industry as we know it is currently over. So just to preface this video, sorry I haven't made a video in a couple of days. I just finished school and I'm working and kind of just trying to take a little bit of a breather. The reason I chose to do this video is because I wanted to really talk to you guys, not just reviewing and talking about other people. I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys that really love fashion and don't know where it's going, and I don't know where it's going either, but this is what I'm suspecting of where it's going. And so I thought this would just be a good chilled out way for us all to discuss the current fashion atmosphere. So there are kind of two sides to this story, and this stems from a conversation I had with my friend Michael, who is a designer and has worked at places like DVF, Bally, Aquascutum. One side of this conversation was me and the other side was him. And so let's start on my side. What I was saying is I feel that each decade that we've lived through as humans, fashion has kind of taken on a persona. And let's say starting in the 50s you have the New Look by Christian Dior. The 60s is Twiggy and short skirts and dancing down runways. The 70s is the Soul Train, long pants, beautiful skinny people wearing heels. The 80s is kind of that strong independent female look with the big shoulder pads. The 90s are really colorful and fun and hip-hop based. The 2000s are juicy couture ruled by Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, and all those kinds of people. And then we kind of get to the 2010s. And I think that we right now are at a place where I think that the culture has really simplified itself, so much so it might be because of millennials. They're not interested in buying the way that the fashion industry wants them to buy. Just not expressing yourself through clothing, I think, is really prevalent. Currently, there obviously are people that do, but the vast majority, I think, don't. Even people that are involved in fashion don't necessarily express. They wear jeans and sneakers and a t-shirt. That has just become the norm in the fashion industry, and it's very interesting, but that might also be an expression in and of itself, and I think a lot of the fashion industry are women. A lot of them are working women who are independent, working long hours, don't want to be uncomfortable, don't want to live in this idea of what a man thinks a woman should be. So the idea of Christian Dior's massive skirts that aren't going to fit through a door no longer are relevant to how we are living. And so we have pushed through to this really simple, normal look, normcore, and that's how we're currently living. And I think that in the 2020s, I think we will change. But currently, I don't think the fashion industry will be able to sustain itself throughout this change because there is not the same respect. The respect is no longer there because of things like social media. And not saying that social media is a bad thing at all, it's actually an amazing tool. So during World War II, everything was rationed in Europe. Everything, clothing, food, anything that you needed, it was going to be rationed, so you could not just buy it. So these people had been living through this really tough decade of not being able to have whatever they want. So as soon as the war was over and Christian Dior started to use fabric, which was a rationed thing, in the lining of dresses and using so much fabric, which was seen as wasteful, there kind of became this idea to buy and to want and to have because there had been this real shortage of all of these things. So that is where the idea, I think, of modern fashion was kind of born, was that, exuberance and elegance and opulence of fashion. And so it's really continued on now, and it's been safe until current times. The fashion industry is not doing well at all. I think you guys can all tell from that. Brands are really struggling. Brands are shuttering. Even the big players like Louis Vuitton and Chanel are worried because they're not selling as much as they used to. And so I think, and what Michael was saying, which was really amazing and so smart that he even recognizes this because I don't, he said social media has kind of shed the light on all of the problems of the world. Fashion was used as a way to help people avoid looking at things that were actually wrong with the world. Buy this beautiful skirt and you'll never have to think about the poor children and wherever. You never have to deal with, terror attacks in this place or this place. And so fashion kind of now has become a thing where it's very obvious what's happening in our world thanks to social media. It teaches us about economic problems, social problems, cultural problems. And fashion has not yet adapted itself to that. There's not a way for bigger women in America to buy. You might have a massive audience of women here in America who want to buy, but they're not having dresses made to them. And what I also learned yesterday was, let's say Proenza Schooler makes one of their dresses, and they only go up to a size 12 right now. What happens is, you cannot just take a size 2 dress and then magically say, well, we're gonna make it in a 22, because that won't work. It's not gonna look the same on a bigger woman that it is a smaller woman. So designers have to start designing for larger people, designing for their market. What happens is, designers design for who they think should buy the clothes. But a lot of designers design for young people. They put their clothes on young people. Young people can't afford that in this current state. Millennials can't even afford a house, let alone a $22,000 dress. And so it's kind of just become this idea that fashion is no longer sustainable, it's no longer relevant to the young people who should be buying. So it becomes this thing that fashion is no longer sustainable, it's no longer relevant to the people that should be buying. And so it becomes, what should we do with it? It lacks diversity in race, it lacks diversity in sexual orientation, it lacks diversity in gender, it lacks diversity in size. So it's kind of this whole thing where it's like, why would any of these people buy these clothes? Because they don't actually do anything to help or make the people that are supposed to be buying it feel any better about themselves. And so you kind of need brands that will hopefully pop up maybe in the next 3 to 4 years that will cater to these people, but also at the same time be integral, make beautiful clothing that will actually have a care about not only themselves, but their customers as well. And so I think that's why fashion is failing. Fashion really needs to adapt itself. Every other industry has, and fashion, which is stuck in its ways since places like the 80s, when all of these people said, this is how it's supposed to be, and this is what I want, and unfortunately, those people are really being pushed out right now, and young people need to come in, like us, and say, this is what needs to happen. There needs to be diverse journalism. Not everybody can just love their advertisers. As much as advertisers are amazing and you need them to sustain a fashion, print, or editorial, or journalism business, you cannot just cower to your advertisers. So, and that's the thing that I think about a lot too. It's gonna be hard for me to decide on whether or not, if Louis Vuitton advertises with me, am I going to talk the truth about their collections? The companies really hold a lot of weight and a lot of power, and so we have to, in reality, find companies that will become sustainable and ethical in the ways that they use their advertising dollars, the way that they create clothes, the way that they cast models, and do all of these things. And so it's definitely a new thing to look at, and it's definitely a new thing to think about, and hopefully we can all go on this little fashion journey together, because I have to say, I really respect all of you that watch my videos, even the people that hate me. I have to say I really respect all of you because you have your own opinions, you say them very loudly and very proudly, and I think that is what we need in the future of the fashion industry. So, thank you guys for watching. This has been a very empowering video. I'm very happy that I did this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to read all of the things that you have to say about where the fashion industry is going. But again, thank you guys for watching. I really enjoy all of you and think you're so smart and talented and amazing. And thank you guys for watching. So, TTYL.